Okay, so we're going to get started. Carrie, James will be in here, so you'll need to sit at a seat where he can sit beside you. James is going to come in. So what we're going to do today is go over the introductory information. We're going to do some introductions. We will talk about the syllabus. We're going to spend quite a bit of time on that because it has a lot of information that you'll need. We're going to go over expectations. So what I expect from you guys and what you guys should expect from me. This is a two-way street, so I want to make sure you guys are getting as much out of this as possible. And then we will go over some, what I'm going to call an overview of the class, and we're going to do some mini lessons. So a couple of things about these mini lessons. This will hopefully remind some of you of what you need in order to be fairly successful in this class. So it's going to help me see where you guys are at, see if anybody should go back or if anybody should go forward. So it's going to give me a better taste of that. And then we will do what we call an exit ticket. And in the process of this, I'm going to explain to you guys some procedural things, so some things that I do. So one of the first things that I do is record the class sessions. So I always have the recording of the class session, and then I load it to my YouTube channel. So I have the most boring YouTube channel ever. It's really boring. It's just lectures of me teaching, and you can hear you guys, but you can't necessarily see you guys. So if Josh said something in class, it would record what he's saying, but it's not going to show him. And all it shows is the board and me when I get in the way. That's it. The only other thing on there are my husband's races. So my YouTube channel, you guys I'll give you something to write this down with here in a minute. But my YouTube channel is in my maiden name. So my YouTube channel is Martha Boer, which is my maiden name. And my married name is Warner. So I would like you guys to call me Mrs. Warner. You will need to know my last name for your papers and for the assignments that you do. So my maiden name was Boer for 37 years, and now I am a Warner. So here's my face in case you forget what I look like. Just a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Kokomo. I've been here most of my life. After high school, I graduated from Kokomo High School. After high school, I didn't have money to go to college, so I went to Mexico, the country, not the city. So I moved to Mexico. I was fluent in Spanish at the time. I decided that I wanted to be a Spanish teacher at some point, but I wanted some experience in Mexico. So I lived in Chihuahua, Mexico for a while.
Chihuahua?
Yes, it's an actual place, not just a dog. So I lived in Chihuahua, Mexico for a while. And then I got some money together, and I decided I wanted to be an actress. So I got a job as a nanny in New Jersey because that was right over the bridge to New York. So I decided to nanny until I could get a job as an actress. I did get a job, but I wasn't very good at it. I'm not really good with other people's mistakes on stage. So I was not very tolerant of other people. So I decided to move back to Indiana. I was here for a little bit, and then I moved to California. So for a few months, I moved to East Palo Alto, California. It was a nice area, but way, way too big for my budget. So I moved back to Indiana. I've been here since then. So that was back in 1996. I moved back here, and that's when I met the father of my kids. So we met in 96. He started paying for me to go to school. So I started at Ivy Tech. I loved Ivy Tech. I loved my education there. I loved my teachers. They were wonderful. But I went as far as I could go there, and then I transferred to IUK. And during that transfer, I found out I was pregnant for my first kid. So my oldest son was born in 99, and then I got pregnant again, had another one, and just kept that pattern going. 4 kids later, 4 natural kids later. I have 4 kids. It took me a really long time to buckle down and get to school. So in 2004, I had my last son. I also left the kid's dad. He's got some issues. So I left him, and I started going to school full-time and working full-time. So I was working like 3 or 4 jobs at a time and going to college full-time. My little guy, Wyatt, I actually started going into labor with him in class. So when I say I know what you guys are going through, I really do, because I was there. I was a single mom of 4 kids. I just calculated the other day that I was a single mom for 12 years. I eventually met a guy that I knew in school. I won't say that he's a nice guy, because he's really not. He's not the nicest person on the planet, but he's good for me and my kids. He is a wonderful addition to our family. So where I'm nice and loosey-goosey, he's like, no, brush your teeth, clean your room. So we kind of complement each other fairly well. So we decided to get married. So we got married earlier this year. We've been together for about 7 years. This is his daughter, Madison. She's a senior at Kokomo High School, getting ready to start IUPUI. My oldest son, Coy, is a junior, and he's getting his license this week, so I'm going to go away sometimes. My son, Drew, is a freshman at the high school. Drew is a welder, and he wants to be like Mike when he grows up, which is not very nice. May is my mini-me. She's my daughter, and she is in 8th grade. She's going to start the culinary program at high school next year. And my little guy, Wyatt, he is 11. He just turned 11 a few weeks ago. Wyatt has some major special needs. So he has a high-frequency hearing loss. He has some speech issues because of that. Let me flip the light off for just a second for you. Oh, yeah, you can see us. And my baby is Roxy. She's my Italian Mastiff. She is adorable and lovable, and she's wonderful, and she's mine. So Mike and I got married a few months ago, and then we decided to go to Italy, the Isle of Capri. So we spent our honeymoon in Italy. We backpacked, as you can see. That was not a good idea. So we sweat a lot. We were sweating a lot. We lost 15 pounds, and then we came back and we ate it all back. So it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. It was wonderful, and it was a really great experience. In addition to Roxy, we have Sarge. Sarge is our male, and we have bred them and had a couple of litters of puppies. They're adorable, but no more. So. No more puppies. They are blue Mastiffs. So they're gorgeous.
They're pit bulls, right?
No, they're Italian Mastiffs. So they're like Cujo. Not like Cujo. but the slobbery like Cujo or Turner and Hooch. That's the kind of dogs they are. Just a different breed, so they don't slobber as much. I wish I had my picture of Sarge in here, because he's my dum-dum dog. He is just... he's fun. He thinks he's 2 pounds, and he's 140. So, yeah, it's fun. Okay, watch your eyes. I'm going to turn the lights back on.
Ooh.
Yeah, that kind of gets to you. Okay, so what I want to do now is get to know a little bit about you guys. Yes, Josh?
Is he from Marion?
My husband? No, he gets lost if he goes past North Street. He is a North Ender in Kokomo. Yeah, he does not like... going too far.
I'm just saying, my family's home.
Yeah. He has a lot of family that's over in that area, especially Greentown, Jerome, that area. And he has he was raised by his stepdad, so he doesn't know a whole lot about his real dad's family. He actually found out when his mom died a few years ago. He found out he had 5 brothers and sisters he didn't know about. So we spend a lot of time in Tennessee and Georgia now to visit them. And they look just like Mr. Okay, so I want to know a little bit about you guys. So what I want you to do on the sheet of paper that has your name on it, I want you guys to write 2 to 3 complete sentences. Now, this is one of those tools that I will use to figure out where you need to be. So try your best to make these sentences good and complete. In those sentences, I want to know your name. Tell me what you prefer to be called. So an example of this, Kyle was in a class a while back, and there were two other Kyles, like one or two other Kyles. So he said, "Oh, you can call me Thomas." So whatever you prefer to be called by, go ahead and use that. Now, if you want something crazy like Grand Supreme Lord, that's not going to happen. But whatever you prefer to be called by, write your name, your goals for being here. So for most of you, that's a Core 40 diploma. For some of you, that may be a general diploma. Whatever it is, you may want to be focusing on a specific certificate as well. So I know a lot of students want to do like the welding program, or they want to do the CNA program. So write that as well. And then your focus after completion. So are you here because you want to get a better job? Are you here because you want to get paid more in the job you're at? Are you here because you want to go to college? Do you want to go to a 2-year college? Do you want to go to a 4-year college? What do you want to do? And then any questions or concerns that you guys may have. Okay? So just spend a few minutes writing 2 to 3 complete sentences about yourself. Okay?
Question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll show you how to use it. I'll be right back.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I got her for papers. She's getting me. I did.
That is a thing from when I was like 12 on, because I got because of family issues.
No, you can just tell whatever you want to tell, whatever you feel comfortable with. So it
I
could
could
be
tell I
like,
could tell you one later on, but I just
yeah, you don't need to. That's fine. Okay.
And then I've been married like a lot of years, but I've been single for long. So I just wondered if I had that in there too.
Nope. Nope. Whatever you feel comfortable with.
So I'll put my kids in there though.
That's good.
If you have a death in the family, how do you do like mixing school wise? How can you make up the work?
What do you mean?
Like I got my aunt, my mom both ill right now, and doctor said we don't know how long they got. So I don't know when they might. I just want to know about that. They are both sisters, and they both are real bad ill.
Yeah. That's something that it just depends on what happens. It may require repeating the class, or you may have enough at that point to do something different. It just depends. Okay. Okay, so as you guys are finishing this, I forgot to tell you probably one of the most important parts about my education. So I did eventually get my degree from IU. I went to IUK because it was local. It took me a long time, but I did get a degree in English. And when I was there, you had to get a degree in your content area and in secondary ed. So I have a degree in English, but I also have a degree in secondary ed. I did teach at Taylor Middle School for a while, and then I started teaching at Plymouth High School. And between those points, I also waited tables at Ducky's. So some of you may remember me from there. I know that's Dennis and I a lot of times.
Terrace Local.
Yes. Yes.
That's my kids' friend's house.
Okay. So I was there off and on for about 16 years until I broke my ankle there. That also was the time where I started working at Ivy Tech. So about 5 years ago, I started as an adjunct at Ivy Tech, and then I accepted a full-time position. I started working at the campus in Logansport. Loved it, loved it, loved it. They moved me to the Kokomo campus last year, and then due to budget cuts, I did lose my position there. So it was all budget cuts. Not that I did anything wrong. I had been on a dual credit visit with Mr. Nick, so he offered me a job. So before I left on my honeymoon, I had another job ready and waiting for me. I did earn my master's degree, so I have a master's degree in liberal studies with an academic teaching of English focus, which is just a bunch of fancy words a lot of words. 4, I'm qualified to teach English from 5th grade to whatever area. I've taught creative writing, I've taught English 111. Now we are blending the English 2 and Writing 2 courses. So many of you may have been in Writing 2 last term. Some of you were in English 2 last term. This is a combination of those 2 courses. We've got coaches at the window.
Good morning.
Happy
birthday.
Smile.
Smile.
Everybody.
Like you're excited.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yes. Okay.
Is everybody or missing people?
Missing people.
Do the best. So,
This place so sweet.
all passes that you guys are here.
Yep,
Keep it
they're
up.
here.
Especially Sheila.
There's another Sheila.
Yep.
Yeah. Hers is still different though. So, yeah. Yep. Everyone's in there so far.
Okay. So again, I've been in school for a really long time. Not only on this side of the fence, but also on your side of the fence. It took me 8 years to get my bachelor's degree because I was having babies all the time. We need to stop having babies. It takes up a lot of time and a lot of money. Oh my God, it costs so much money.
Definitely boys. Boys is harder to find clothes for. No,
Oh,
it's the
no.
girls. Them ruffles will
Oh my
get you.
goodness, they do. It's adorable. You have to buy it. So, and I have 3 boys, so it's like pass down, pass down. It's got holes in it, but he can survive. It's okay. So pass down.
Exactly.
So, when I asked you guys to tell me a little bit about yourself, I want you to tell me about yourself for a few reasons. So, one of the reasons I want you to tell me about yourself is because I need to know how to say your name. That was my name for 37 years. You know what everybody called me? Booger. Are you Mrs. Booger? Yeah, that's pretty close. Whatever. I don't know. That's not how to say my maiden name. But I got called a lot of really weird names. My first name is like an old lady. So people thought I was like a 60-year-old German lady or something. Hamburger or something. I don't know what they thought. But I got called a lot of names. So I want to know what you want to be called and how to pronounce it because I don't want to butcher it like my name was butchered. The other thing I want to know is what I can do to help you guys be successful.
Sure.
Okay, so Dennis and I have worked really hard for two terms on figuring out some strategies that are going to work for him as far as making him successful in his reading comprehension. So we've worked really hard and we've got some really solid strategies. I want to work with each of you individually as well as a small group. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about that here in just a few minutes. It gets really warm in the classroom, so I'm going to try to keep the fan on and keep the fan up as much as possible. But I'm going to have you guys go around and I'm going to have you say your name and what you hope to get from this class. So tell me your preferred name. This is how I will get to know you guys and also how I'm going to keep track of you guys. I don't put a sign-in sheet on the door. I just do it by myself. So I want to know your name and what you hope to get from this class. So again, this class is a combined reading comprehension course as well as writing course. So from this class, we'll talk about the credits later on, but what do you hope to get from this class? If you want to be honest and say, hey, I just really want to get out of this class so I can get to the next class so I can graduate and get out of here. That's fine. That's an honest answer. Okay? Miss Sheila, we're going to start with you.
Aw, thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Sheila Taylor and I'm 53 years old. I want to graduate with honors. I want a halfway house in Kokomo. So my focus, my goal is to get good grades in here and do well. And good luck to everybody.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay.
My name is Tina Carr. I'm 49 years old. I'm married. I want to try to prove myself I could do this because my dad said I couldn't do it because I wasn't a slow learner, and I want to prove to him I can make good grades and pass and get my graduation.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
My name is Sophie. I'm almost 20. I'm here because it was the last promise I made my dad before he passed away. He passed away when I was 17. He didn't graduate. My older brother did, so I was the first one of his kids that he helped raise to graduate. I'm slow when it comes to math, but English, I know what I'm doing. But after so many losses in my family, it's like I got a mind block. I don't know. Grief, I haven't dealt with all the dust. It's whatever. I gotta focus on me now. So that's why I'm here, and I gotta take
And what's your last name?
Grant, G-R-A-N-T.
And it's C-H-E-L-S-E-A.
Sometimes they pronounce it Chelsea or something like that.
Okay.
When I was born, that's how they pronounced it. Sometimes my mom had to correct them. Because the A silent.
Alright.
I prefer to go by Chinese that way. No one like pronouncing the name.
Alright. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Ready? You do not have to tell your age either. Okay. Ready?
Okay, I'm Marissa Gamble. I'm married, I have 4 kids. I'm going to get my full 40, so I'm going to college to be a diesel mechanic.
To be a what?
Diesel mechanic.
Okay. My husband is a mechanic, so.
Well, I get tired of walking into somewhere and I know what I'm talking about.
And they treat you like crap.
Because I'm a female, they look at me like I'm stupid.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
get in my vehicle still and test drive it, and what do? They break more stuff on my car and about wreck it. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, Josh?
Hi, my name is Josh Logan, and I'm here to get my diploma. I plan to go to Ivy Tech after I get my diploma. Hopefully, I can become a photographer. And I'm surprised that I got as far as I did, and not that I say it was hard. It's good that I did it as far as I went. Because I can see that I use.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Josh. Miss Sheila. Other Sheila.
My name is Sheila McCord. I have 4 kids and 11 grandkids. And my goal is to get my high school diploma so I can find a better job.
Kyle.
My name's Todd Holmes. Just line over right now, I'm 16. My goal is to graduate with a 440 diploma. When I get down here, I want to go to Ivy Tech to be a mechanic. And
Okay. Anything specific you're hoping to get from the class?
education.
Through. Okay. Get through. Okay, good. Okay. So this is Carrie.
You want me to read her paper? Or?
Yep, I can read your list. Okay. Okay. So, did y'all catch?
No.
So Carrie is here to get her diploma. She wants to prove to everybody that she can do this and get her education. Is there anything else for her?
She said I'm focused on pursuing to finish graduating, then get diploma after that. I don't have to worry about my future plans.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm Amanda. I like to be called Mandy. There's a lot of people that knows me by that. I do have a 1-year-old boy, a 1.5-year-old boy, named Austin. I wanted to get my high school diploma to go to college to become a marriage therapist or a daycare person. Run my own daycare.
Do you know what college you want to go to?
I don't know.
Okay.
My name's Tabitha Price. I have 3 children and a fiance, and dealing with them, getting them off to school every day can be a task, but kind of help me move along as well. I would like to get my diploma and study for my real estate license and get my bachelor's degree and become a real estate agent and read the books.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Stop working for others. Okay.
You better have the money, you can get it.
Josh, did you have a question?
No, I just want to say, I'm 38 years old, and I've had this plan since I was 16.
To be a photographer? That's awesome.
Okay.
I'll see your work sometime.
I work for them.
Uh-oh.
You go and sleep on me, Thomas. I should like that better when I have them.
Everybody looked at me like, who are you talking about? Every time I said
Thomas
that.
the train.
Okay.
Call me Tabby. I go by Tabby.
Okay. Another cousin?
Yeah.
And, okay, Frederica.
My name is Frederica, and I am 16, and I have 2 kids.
Well, almost.
One son and another one on the way. I moved here in 2010, so around half the year I lived with my dad. And in middle school, I felt like my dad didn't care. I felt like nobody cared, so I didn't care. And then I had my first son in my 3rd year, and then after that, I just had another. After mom passed, I felt like nobody really cared, I didn't have anybody, and then I had my son. So he really encouraged me more than me to go back to school and to actually care about myself, because I now have somebody else to care about other than myself. And I decided to go back to school, and I want to go to Ross Medical to be a senior medical assistant. And I'm going to do that to show my son that no matter what, it's not worth giving up, and that giving up is not a choice. In this class, I went to
And you're due in January. Okay. So if you make it, then you'll be at the end of term 3 before term 4 starts.
Yeah, I would say premature lecture.
Yeah.
I don't know how far I'm going but I'm going to try to as much as I can.
Okay. So, and Frederica's my neighbor. So if we have to work on and if I have to go next door and look at the baby and hang out with the kids to do the work, then that's what we'll have to do. Okay, Natasha.
I am the doctor. One black light and therapist. That's
That's a good time you get What do you mean?
Natasha, you stick in. I will, once we get through the roster, sorry Dennis to cut you off. Once we get through the roster and kind of mellows down a little bit, I will start getting rid of table things so it's a little looser in here. We're also going to be moving around a little bit, so keep that in mind. Okay, we'll just do that in a minute.
My name is Dennis Kenner, and I'm from here. And I'm going to graduate and do volunteer work at the YMCA. And I'm a deacon at a church at First Baptist Church in Colorado. I've been doing that for 9 years. And you always do the problems.
Good at ratting people out too. Yeah.
Well,
So Dennis gets the inside scoop on mean stuff I used to do. Okay. So Miss Sheila brings us to a good point. Just a couple of procedural things. Because this class is a gloss class, we have we're in here for 3 hours together. So it's from 9 to 12:05.
Oh, okay.
So you guys are not going to have the traditional passing period. So for those of you who ride with other people or like to catch up during passing periods, you won't have that. So just kind of know that and be aware of that. Instead, what I'm going to do is probably give us a couple of 10-minute passing periods, like 7 to 10 minutes, just depends on the pace of what we're doing. So I will give you guys those breaks. I'm going to try to do those at like 10 and 11, and then we get out of class at noon, around noon. So we have 10, 11, and then 12. So we're in here for an hour. We will be moving around. So the room across the hall is also my room, my classroom. So next week I'm going to be breaking you guys into some groups, and we're going to be trying some things and working through some things. I'll explain a little bit more about that here in just a few minutes, but I do want to try to get through as much of the syllabus as possible before we actually move on. So we will start talking about the syllabus, but if you guys need to use the restroom, just make sure I know, But if I'm up here talking, don't say, hey, Warner, can I go to the bathroom? Number 2, or I don't need to know all the details. Just make eye contact with me, gotta go to the bathroom, and then go, okay? So let's go ahead and go over the course syllabus. This is going to take a little bit of time. So if you could pass these back. I did not, but I can. It's very similar to what it was before. You have to toss most statements. Everybody have their lunch done?
I don't really
I did. I don't know why.
Did you?
This one not please with the next one.
I know.
Those were English too. I don't know who that is. It was on your thing. Is this yours?
That's for her. You guys all have one? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so first and foremost is my name. So my name is listed at the top. Below that, you guys have my email address. Now my email address goes directly to my phone, so that's really helpful. Feel free to email me as much and as often as possible. In addition to that, you also have my phone number. So this phone number, you can call me, you can text me. It will come automatically to my phone, and I will answer it as soon as possible. The problem with my phone is that if I'm in a weird area, we went to Michigan this weekend, and we were in a lot of weird spots where things didn't come through. So it may or may not actually work, and I will not respond if I'm in class. I put my phone in my office, and I don't mess with my phone anytime that I'm in class. I usually don't get to it during lunch, and so I'm not going to see any messages that you send me until later. But if you are going to be late, send me a message. Just shoot me a text saying, hey, the trolley is running late. Or, hey, I'm going to be late to class. Send me a message really quickly. I don't care what form it comes in, but send me a quick message, and then it's at least saved on my phone so I know that you did follow the appropriate procedures on that. What's that? Yes, if you're sick. Anything that you need. You can email me with questions. Anything that you need, text me, email me, call me. Just know that the email is going to get to me much more quickly. So if you can send me an email, it's going to come through more quickly, and then I can actually answer it when students are working. Okay?
What part of Michigan did you go to?
We were going Fife Lake. We were sleeping on Saturday.
Oh, I never heard of that. Like, I used to live in Michigan. So.
Yeah, not a big friend of that place. Okay, course description. So a couple things. This course is now English 2 and Writing 2 combined. So you guys may see it listed as English 2 and Writing 2. It's going to be one course now. That's why you have to be co-enrolled in both of the courses. With this course, we're going to focus on a couple of things. So first and foremost, we're going to focus on reading comprehension. The goal here is to get your Lexile level over 1,000. So for some of you, that means nothing because we have no Lexile score for you, which we're going to do tomorrow. For some of you, that means, oh, I need to go up 100 points. For some of you, you've hit that goal, but because your writing needs so much work, you may need the additional writing component. So this class, the goal here is to get you over 1,000 on your Lexile. 1,000 on your Lexile is our minimum for English 3. So to move on, you need to have that 1,000 Lexile. In addition, we're going to work on some of the basics of the writing. So we are going to work a little bit on parts of speech. Now, I am an English teacher. I have a degree. I have a bachelor's degree in English. And I will tell you that on a day-to-day basis, people don't say, well, what's the noun? Where's the noun? Where's the article? You don't say that. But you need to know it for certain standardized tests. So we're going to cover the basics, and we're going to talk a little bit about the language that's used in certain circumstances, so you guys understand how to get through the testing that you need in order to be successful. So we're going to talk a little bit about writing, and we're going to focus on writing paragraphs in here. We're not going to be writing essays, we're just going to be writing paragraphs. Okay? Sentences to paragraphs. So for this course, you get 3 credits. So one of those credits is a grammar credit. One goes in as an elective credit. So this is a basic skills class. It's identified as a developmental class, so students who need a little bit more help getting the materials. So that goes in as an elective credit, and then you get 1 English credit. So you know you need 8 English credits in order to graduate. So this will fulfill 2 of those English credits. Okay? So the objectives that are listed there are very incomplete because I forgot to paste. I copied but forgot to paste. So we're going to be focusing on a lot in here. We're really going to focus a lot on main idea. We're going to talk about the things that we're going to focus on here in just a few minutes or in just a bit. We will go over certain ideas and certain concepts, and we're going to go over some of those more in depth than we are others. The things that you guys need to know, methods of evaluation. So we're going to do reading and writing assignments. Those will compose 25% of your overall grade. Assessments will be vocabulary quizzes that you guys have almost every week. So almost every week, full weeks, you will get vocabulary words. You will get 2 on Mondays, 2 on Tuesdays, 1 on Wednesdays, and we will review all 5. And then we will have a vocab quiz on Thursdays. Those words are going to be stuff that you will actually use. I have a book on like words that every high school student should know, and some of those words don't matter in the grand scheme of life. So I'm not going to pull those words. I'm going to use words that apply to us, words that we actually need to care about. So we will have vocabulary quizzes every week. In addition, you will have a midterm and you will have a final exam. All of those will comprise 65% of your overall grade. Daily activities. So we will have daily activities in here, and those daily activities are going to comprise 10% of your overall grade. So if you don't do any of the daily work, you're going to struggle a lot, but you can still pass the class. You see the grading guidelines listed next to that. So the A's, B's, C's, and D's, and what the F is as well. Please don't disappear at the end of the term. I have a lot of students who actually do pretty well, and then they disappear at the end of the term, so they don't end up passing the class because they just needed a couple of extra things. Just work with me. Work with me, and I'll work with you. Try to do it as pleasantly as possible, because if you come at me and you're a jerk, then I'm not going to be super pleasant. So make sure that you're asking me and you're communicating with me. If you have something going on, life happens. I understand that. I've got 4 kids, and I was a kid once too, and I've been an adult for a lot longer. So I know things happen. Things happen with our kids. This term, we have breaks in here. So we have Thanksgiving. We have Christmas break. We have so many things going on this term. I understand. So just keep communicating with me, and then I'll do my best to communicate and help you guys out as well. Expected materials. So every day that you guys come in, I need you to bring a pen or a pencil. It cannot be purple. That's the only rule. I use purple to grade. I don't like to grade red or any other color. So don't use a purple pen or a pencil. I do also have extras. Most of these are stolen from hotels. So if you need one, they're here. Just help yourself. I do have a pencil sharpener as well. If you need a notebook, I do have some extras. They're on sale at Menards for like 20 cents, so I grabbed a bunch. If you need a notebook, I have notebooks. If you are one who loses stuff, I have a spot back there that you can leave your stuff, and you will have it here always. So if you want to leave that stuff, just let me know. A binder. I suggest that you have a binder, something that you can hold all of your materials in. I hole punch almost everything, and if I don't hole punch it, then I have a hole punch to hole punch it. It just helps you stay a bit more organized. That's really going to be helpful when you guys get into some of your other classes. When you have a lot of classes in one term, you want to keep it as organized as possible, and notebooks just don't do that very well. Suggested materials. So if you could organize your binder with a tab divider, that would be great. If you can't, that's okay as well. Tab dividers look like this. You can label them in any way that you see fit. If you want those materials but you can't get them, just let me know and we can figure something out. Okay, some general course policies. So I did this because I've been teaching adults for a while. I've been teaching adults for about 6 years now. So I have drafted this with the belief that you guys are going to act like mature adults. I also expect that you guys are here because you want to be here. Nobody's forcing you. Even if the judge says, hey, you have to be here, well, you still have a choice. You can go to jail. That's a choice. It's a crappy choice, but you still got a choice there. So my guidelines are guidelines for you guys to just go by and think about. If you violate something, then I don't have really strict, hey, this is what's going to happen this step, this is what's going to happen this step. The only thing that I am very strict about are cell phones and the tardy policy, which we'll talk about here in a minute. I do ask that you guys be brave. Brave is the acronym that I use to just guide the course. So the B stands for believe in yourself and your abilities as well as that of others. If you don't try in this class, I can't help you. So if you are not willing to try and you're not willing to try different things, I can't do anything for you. And if you think what you were doing before worked, okay, well, it probably didn't. That's probably why you're in here with me. So I want you guys to try other things and believe that you can do it. Don't go into it with the mindset that, oh my gosh, she's making me do this and this is stupid. If you go into it with that mindset, you're not going to be very successful. The R is the one I'm most strict about. Respect. So respect others. That's something I'm really big on. Listening when they're not speaking, when they are speaking. So when someone is speaking, I expect you guys to be respectful of them and not start talking. Don't try to talk over them. Don't talk with someone else while other people are speaking. It's extremely disrespectful. Non-interrupting. So avoid interrupting other people when they're talking. So if Dennis is saying something, don't talk over him or don't talk and interrupt him with the answer. Not talking while they're talking and criticizing constructively. So in English 3, we do a lot of peer reviewing. We're not going to do a lot of that in here, but I see a lot of people say, well, that sucks. That's stupid. How many of you have ever had somebody tell you you're stupid? Okay, so we don't want to repeat that pattern by doing it to somebody else. So that's something I won't tolerate at all. That I actually... First day, last term, I had to take a student out for that. It was not pretty, but it would set a negative tone for the rest of the class if you're not being respectful. Ask questions of your teacher, fellow students, guests, subject matter. Really just asking questions when you don't understand. I haven't been in your shoes in a long time, so I need to know what you don't know. And I don't grab your heads, get into your brains, shrink myself down so I can figure it out. So you have to tell me. And you tell me by asking me questions. You can also ask each other questions. So when you're working, you're going to be oftentimes working in small groups. And within your small groups, I've put you in those groups for specific reasons. Sometimes it's based on ability. I use the ability to factor that in. But I also look at your strengths and weaknesses. So I'm going to group you with people who are like but also different. So ask questions of others in your group, but also ask me questions because I don't know what you don't know. Value yourself, your education. Basically, put value in things. So don't destroy somebody else's property. They have spent time, effort, and money on that. And so put value into that. If you don't want to be here, don't be here. It would be a lot less warm in here if we had less bodies. So if you don't want to be here, don't waste my time and don't waste anybody else's time. Enthusiastically enter the class each day. So this one is where we'll get into the nitty-gritty here. So when you come in here, you cross this threshold, it's a fresh start. So make sure that you are entering in the most positive way possible. Do not have your music on in here. So if you're listening to your music on your way here, that's fine. Before you cross that threshold, turn it off. Make sure that you are off your phone. So this gets really annoying. When a student is sitting over here and they answer the phone like, hey, yeah, hold on. When you're talking on your phone in the room, that is so completely disrespectful. So pick up your phone, open it if you want to, but take it outside. If you have an emergency, then you need to make sure that you're answering your phone. But for most of us, it's not going to be an emergency. If you do have something that comes up, make sure that you're letting me know. So an example of this, if you have a parent who's having surgery, well, that's kind of important. So maybe you've chosen to be here and you want to get your test done. So have your phone out. Let me know about that ahead of time. Have your phone on vibrate so it doesn't bother anybody else. I have some questionable ringtones, so let's make sure that you have those off. Make sure that you guys are in here and really here. If you have an issue with that, then talk to me about that. That's not really one I waver too much from. Any questions on that? And it says, again, on the cell phone or the class decorum. So don't talk on or into your phones. In addition to this, Dennis, can I use yours? Cancel again. Okay, so Dennis is going to use an app. He's going to use Evernote to write certain things. So in order to do that, he's got to talk into his phone. So I'm not going to have Dennis talking into his phone while you guys are sitting here trying to read something. So we're going to isolate in order to do that. So keep those things in mind. That's something that I'm going to try to do for you guys, but I don't want you talking in your phone when other people are reading. So I had a student a few terms ago who tried to take notes that way. That's a great idea, but you can't do it when other people are working. And if you want to do that, then make sure you tell me that ahead of time so I can find a quiet spot for you to do that, so you're not bothering other students. Okay? Plagiarism and cheating. So plagiarism, right above that, let me get to one other thing here. So our class discussions are sometimes going to be personal. If you don't feel comfortable sharing it, don't share it. Sometimes I talk about things and my tears well up or I get very upset, very emotional about it. Don't talk about it if you don't feel comfortable with it. In addition to that, on the other side of that, if you hear somebody talking about something, don't laugh, smirk, make a comment. Be very respectful of what they think and their ideas. Be very respectful on that. So the next section talks about plagiarism and cheating. If I catch you cheating, I'm just going to give you a 0. I'll let you finish, because I'm that way, but I'm going to give you a 0. So don't look at somebody else's paper. We do have desks separated for a reason, so just try to avoid looking at anybody else's paper. Plagiarism we won't have to worry about because we're not going to be doing any research pieces in here. Okay, a couple more things before you guys get a break. So assignments, I do expect your assignments to be completed before you get in here. Don't try to finish them last minute. You do have a little bit of time in the morning, so if you can get here a little earlier and come in and ask questions or finish it up, that is perfectly fine. I do accept late assignments. The policy on this, every day it's late is 10% off. So if it's due during class time and you turn it in the next day, that's 10% off. You can keep doing that, and some points are better than no points. Now there is a final date on certain things that you guys will do, so you can't turn anything in past that date. Okay, so this is where my reputation precedes me. Attendance, participation, and tardiness. So attendance is essential for most classes, but it's definitely essential for this class because this is a block class, because it's a lot of information. And you're getting 3 credits from this class. So if you were in a traditional high school environment, that would take you 3 class sessions over a semester. It's going to take you a really long time. So you need to be here. If you can't be here, I get it, things happen. And just like I was saying, if Frederica goes into labor next week, well, I'm going to work with her, and I'm going to say, okay, here's your assignment. Let's do this assignment. Let's do this assignment. As much as possible. There may be times that you say, okay, I can't do this. This term, there's too much going on. That's perfectly acceptable, so just communicate those things with me, and I will help you, guide you in that right direction. Your coach will also work with you on that. So you can miss 4 classes in a term. That is the policy of the Excel Center. You can miss 4 classes. However, there are students who've missed more than 4 classes because they have issues. They have things that come up. Again, if you're communicating with me, then we can work through those. We can't always work through those. So know that and be prepared for that. So the tardy policy, you'll see it on the door as well. So I'm very strict about policy, the tardy policy, because it is extremely disruptive to other people when they're trying to work. So the first time that you are tardy, and my door is locked, so if the door is locked, you just have to knock, and I'll let you in. If you don't knock, I'm not necessarily going to see your nose out here, the top of your head. So make sure that you knock on the door. I've had students standing up here for like 10 minutes. So knock on the door. The first time, I'm going to give you a note card. You write your name, the date, and why you were late. So I've had excuses from, I got into a wreck before I came here, and most of the time it's, I was out smoking and I lost track of time. You're going to write that down, and then you're going to put it in the purple box in the back. That's just going to be that first time. So I'm going to give you a mom look like, okay. And we're going to move on. Second time, I'm going to give you a card. You're going to put your name, the date, the reason you were tardy on the card. You're going to deposit it back there, and I'm going to say, okay, this is the second time here. The third time that you are tardy, you're going to do the same thing, and that's what we call a Tier 1 report. So I will report it to your coach, and your coach will call you down, have a conversation about why you're late. Sometimes it may be something that you can't help. Most of the time it's something that you just may not be aware of, or something that you need to do a little bit differently. See? I don't see that unless you... Hi, Miss Emily.
Hi. Hi, how's everybody?
They're ready for a break, so we're finishing up a couple of things.
Do you see what I'm wearing?
Yes, I do.
It's painful.
What if you go to a doctor and you come in late that way?
So, do you guys know about Dennis? My agreement with Dennis?
I do. You can share it with everybody else.
So Dennis was feeling challenged in math last term, so we made a deal that for every quiz that he passed with a C or higher, we said, I would wear this dumb t-shirt. I'm a Michigan fan. I graduated from Michigan.
It don't just look gorgeous.
So I told him, I really get this bang for the buck. I'm going to wear it on the first day of class. So I just want to make sure you knew. I'm not at on. I'm wearing it. I even coordinated my outfit to it. Sorry to interrupt.
You're fine.
Are you Notre Dame fan?
Yeah, big.
Big Notre Dame fan. Yeah. Okay, so this tardy policy is regardless of what's going on. You could come in 2 hours late, it's still a tardy. And you showed up. It may be marked as an absence for a while, but eventually it will just be marked as a tardy. Keep in mind this is across the board. But if you let me know that things are going on, then it's not necessarily going to count against you. Again, I do realize that things happen, things are going on. The fourth time, you will not be permitted in the room. So this is if after you've talked to your coach, we've had a conversation or a couple conversations about your tardiness. That fourth time, you will have to go straight to your coach, and then you'll just have to try again the next time. It's not try again the next year necessarily. It's try again the next day, because every day you start fresh. So you have your fourth tardy, and you come in, you're running late, you're 10 minutes late to class. That's it. You're going down to the office, or you're going to your coach, and you're going to report to them, hey, I was here, but Mrs. Warner, I'm on my fourth tardy. And they're going to probably say, oh, and then that's it. You come in the next day, you're not late, and it's okay. That's all it is. Okay? I don't do this to penalize you for being tardy as much as I do this for the benefit of those who aren't tardy. So when you're in here taking a test, I should ask Chris Blair to say this. So Chris Blair was in here one term, and he was trying to take a test, and it was a final, so it was hard, and he was engulfed in it, and like 4 students tried to come in late, and it was so distracting for him, and it's really hard to concentrate on something that could mean you pass the class or fail the class when you have other people who are coming in late. So it's more out of respect for other people. All right, last part of this. I'm going to give you guys a break here in just a minute, and then we'll take another break after we go through a few more things. And then we have lunch, and then we have a couple other classes. My classes are blocked, so 3rd and 4th period, I will not be available during the traditional passing period because I have a blocked class again later in the day. If you miss class, please make sure you communicate with me. If you have missed a class, the first step is coming in here and checking the folder. After you've communicated that with me, check the folder and see what you've missed. Those who are not here today but should be, I'm going to have all of their information in here. So when they come in, the first thing they'll do is check the folder. That's all you have to worry about. If you have questions, there is a spot for you to write down your classmates' contact information. So you can call your classmates or text your classmates, ask them anything that you need. The ADA statement is listed there. So many of you already know Miss Paula. If you don't know Miss Paula, you should, because she's awesome. Miss Paula is the SPED coordinator. If she has accommodations on file for you, here in just a few minutes, I'm going to have you write that down, or after you get back from break, because I don't always see those until I go search for those. So I know many of you already have accommodations listed, but I don't necessarily have those available until I look for those. If you think that you need any additional help on anything, it could just be my son has a high frequency hearing loss, so he wears headphones to drown out, like this would drive him insane. He couldn't hear over this noise. So he wears headphones. My mom has a seizure disorder. So if you have something medical, if you have a learning issue, I am dyslexic, which is also why everything that you guys get will be in Verdana font, because that one is clear for my eyes, so I don't mix things around as much. Let me know, let Miss Paula know, and we'll get you some help for those things. The term dates to remember, it begins today. The midterm will be Tuesday, November 24th. You will go on Thanksgiving holiday, November 25th through the 27th. The building will also be closed those days. The winter break is listed there as well, the 21st through January 3rd. Monday, January 11th will be the final exam, and Tuesday the 12th is the last day of the term, but you guys will not be here that day. That will be the day that we are working through finals. Okay? All right. So let's take about 10 minutes.
Okay.
I don't know all of mine.
No, you don't need to know your accommodations. Just do you have?
Why did you say that?